Sebastian Traeger is the founder of Panthera Group, which invests in and takes leadership roles in companies and not-for-profits. Prior to that, Sebastian founded multiple startups and also has been in leadership roles with not-for-profits. Right now, Sebastian works with multiple different companies, but spending most of his time focused on a company here in Richmond, Virginia called Reliability.com. Sebastian, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Stephen, for your time. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Sebastian, I know Reliability does root cause analysis, training, and software and consulting for companies around the world. Tell us, with the COVID crisis, what effects have you seen?
Yeah, so for us, root cause analysis is sort of a niche problem-solving tool. It's a great process by which you can solve almost any problem. But historically, we have done primarily in-person training and consulting, and we've done it in the oil and gas industries. So you can imagine COVID has affected us quite dramatically. So oil and gas has had, some of the largest crashes and price swings in its history, and all in-person training is effectively shut down. And so it's been a real opportunity and trial for us as we've navigated through this situation.
So Sebastian, I know you've built companies during other downturns, 2001, 2008. What lessons did you learn there that you're trying to apply now with Reliability?
I'd say that the biggest lesson is just don't make light of the realities in people's lives of new circumstances and situations. I mean, sometimes even if the work itself isn't dramatically different, sometimes our identities around the work can change. And so what I used to do or what I enjoyed doing is no longer available to me. And so, people are impacted in different ways. That'd be kind of a first lesson. For us as a company, we've kind of adopted a playbook, and it's a playbook I've used before. Is number one, stay relevant with your customers, continue to deliver excellence, and find ways you can add small value, even if there's not financial compensation. And secondly, we've really used this as a chance to streamline some of our systems. So, what are some of the systems and processes that we can tighten up? We can, again, maybe do more with less. We can figure out how to leverage technology better.
I know you have a lot of experience with nonprofits and even currently work with some nonprofits. What advice would you have for them in this crisis?
I'm advising the groups that I work with to ask is to really get ahead financially of where things might land up. And I think there's really two basic ways to think about that. You could, one kind of back of the envelope way, I think you should think about your organization is effectively we've taken a quarter off, right? We've kind of hit the pause button for almost a quarter of an entire year. So that's effectively 25%. I think back of the envelope, you should be thinking that your budget, what you thought would be your budget, is potentially going to be off as much as 25%, right? That's probably a decent back of the envelope, not a doomsday, but just a kind of be a little bit realistic about that. Think anywhere from 25% to 50% is what you might see in a reduced budget for this year. And then maybe add back any PPP money or other outside funds that you have gotten that are unusual. So really be very, very thoughtful about the realistic money that you'll bring in. This is not a time to rely on wishful thinking. And then the second side of that is really on the fundraising side. I just encourage you to get ahead of the curve. I think if you haven't done anything yet, you might be too late, but it might not be. So I would say just make sure you're communicating with your top donors as quickly as you can, and encourage them to invest in those mission critical aspects of your organization as quickly as they can.
So in 2 years, what do you think you'll miss most about this pre-COVID world?
I like the people I work with. I like to be friends with them and know them. And have some personal interaction with them. And I'm just worried that some of our post-COVID world are going to make those relationships even more, quote, professional. And what I mean by that is, when you add like a safety layer in between people, I just have to imagine that's also going to create a little bit of an emotional and a social distancing as well, even around the workplace. And so I just think some of the camaraderie in the workplace, I'm nervous we're going to lose.
So in 2 years, what do you think you'd be most grateful for about the post-COVID world?
I've been so fortunate. I've got 4 kids, ages 12 through 2, and I love how life is. There's just so many fewer kind of things going on, which has been just such a fun time. to have kids. And while I really enjoy all those activities and it's going to be fun to ramp back up to them, it has been just a sweet time of really life being kind of simple, right? Like I work, I hang out with my family and have a few Zoom calls, and it's kind of like a pretty basic setup. You know, I'm hopeful that doesn't go away, but realistically, life will get busy again. It's been great not traveling. I've loved that. And so I like that there's no expectation to travel.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've got a 2 and a 4-year-old, and I feel like I just know them so much more. And I remember, just missing them entirely on certain days if I had to leave early or get home late. And I don't do that anymore. I see them all the time, all day long.
That's right.
It's really great.
All the time, whether you want to or not. It's like I always see. No, it's great. It's a joy. It's fun. So
that's great. Well, Sebastian, we really appreciate you making time to come on. I think I got some really helpful thoughts and concisely stated from you, and I really appreciate that. And for those who are still watching at this point, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate these, and hope you guys are finding these as valuable as me and Charlie do. Thanks so much.